Before you watch this video, if you are in the New York City area and like Pokken Tournament with soon to come Street Fighter V and Guilty Gear, then check out Nebulous Gaming New York City every Thursday for cash prizes. Links to the Nebulous Facebook page, EGO Twitch, and Hitbox will be provided below for more details. Tournaments for anime games like One Piece Burning Blood and Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm will happen depending on the level of support. Hisoka, what? Yo, this is fucking crazy, bro. He just took out 2 members of the Phantom Troop in like 2 minutes, man. And yo, do you know how long it took Kurapika to kill 2 members of the Phantom Troop? Hisoka does that shit in 1 fucking chapter, man. Whoa! This stunning. Absolutely stunning on every level. I did not expect Hisoka, dude. Like, I just finished reading this chapter. I tweeted about it. I'm like, I'm doing this shit ASAP. And here I am doing this shit. So it's like a reaction / review. It's not a live reaction because I've already read it, obviously. But I just finished reading it, bro. And I'm like, yo, this fucking... Bro, the fucking ambulance. Dude, this is nuts. I am stunned. I just can't believe what I'm seeing. Hisoka. Okay, let me say this here and now. For the story progression purpose of this particular review, it is a little bit too convenient how Hisoka could, like, talk to his Nen right here. Oh, my rubber Nen. And he's sticking his hand into, like, his chest where his heart is. After I'm dead, come back to life along with my heart and lungs. Cradle them, caress them, then expand and contract. I mean, he's talking to his Nen. He is commanding his Nen, once he dies, come back, pump my heart, caress my lungs, return me to life. I mean, for the sake of the plot, that's just a wee little bit too convenient. But I'm a Hisoka fan, so I'm not gonna complain about it that much. Because aside from that, the events that unfold in this chapter are epic. And it's not only Hisoka coming back to life, literally coming back from the dead, because his Nen became stronger. Dude, he's able to recreate limbs, stitch his wounds completely. He no longer needs Machi. He recreated limbs, and there was one thing that I saw in the chapter that was beastly. It was truly beastly. But here's the thing. You have... Oh, man. I'm honest to God just stunned. His Nen is stronger, and the texture ability is multiplied to such an extent to where he no longer requires like a scarf or a towel, and then he can change it via his texture surprise. He can just recreate. He can take the Nen in earnest and add the texture over the Nen to then recreate the body parts that he lost. Like rubber versions of the body parts that he lost. Now, he could do it initially with Nen before, but not to this extent, at least as far as I can remember, not to this extent. Where, like, his full arm appears to be in perfect condition just via the bungee gum and the texture surprise alone. That is... Wow! Hisoka is beastly! Dude, he was already beastly, now he's even more beastly. And he's coming right at the Phantom Troop. Machi's leaving and she thinks, listen, everything's gonna be cool, but here's what Hisoka says. This time I've decided to make sure it's my opponents who can't decide who it is or where they'll have to fight. I see what makes you happy. No. I'm talking about the spiders. Look at that face! Yo, Hisoka's on a rampage. And this time, he is not gonna stop until all the spiders are dead. Now granted, Machi is alive because he likes her. maybe not like a loving sense, but because Machi has helped out in the past a lot, he kind of is like, I guess, indebted to her in many ways. So all he does to Machi is basically trap her with the bungee gum. And Machi has his face on later on in the chapter. Yeah, she has this face. Ooh! Ooh! Machi is sour as fuck! Like, no. This is absolute nonsense. You should be dead. Why are you here? Why are you back? Number one. Number two, you are going to target the Phantom Troop now? Don't you fucking dare. Let me have this shit. I'm gonna murder you. Nah. I mean, it's funny too. Like right here. Wait, get back here, you bastard. Let me have this. I'm gonna fucking murder you. Hisoka, excuse me? Hisoka, excuse me? Who do you think I am? If you want to stop me, how about you free yourself and try? I'm like, Hisoka is back in full effect. So my only problem with this chapter is just how it is super convenient that Hisoka is able to, command his nen to come back after he dies. What Hisoka did in this chapter is unprecedented. He forcibly made his nen stronger after death. That has never happened once. I mean, granted, we can assume that some people, given their desires, given their ambition, their nen would be stronger after death. But to force your nen to become stronger after you die, that is something entirely new. And Hisoka, he commanded his nen to come back once he died. Like, dude, that... Oh, Hisoka-kun, Gon-kun, Killua, I'm coming. Oh, he's not done yet. He's not done yet. Okay, so I like that. But that being said, Chrollo versus Hisoka, the death match. Winner is Chrollo. Chrollo did in fact kill Hisoka, so the Chrollo fanboys are happy about that. However, the tables have turned now, because the man Hisoka is apparently a zombie. He's a clown zombie, which are super scary. And he's not going to rest until all the Phantom Troop are dead. He's going to make sure that he fights them on his own terms. Because he understood that this whole battle was in favor of Chrollo. Chrollo had Phantom Troop powers. He had the gallery fake from Kotorpi. He had the Black Voice from Shalnark. He had also the Sun and Moon. He had so many advantages at his disposal. Given the area, given the number of abilities that he had, Hisoka could not escape and Hisoka died. But now Hisoka, he is souped up bungee gum nen. Okay, all right. Let me go to the review portion of this. Let me stop fanboying here, all right? Because this is... I know, fuck it. I can't stop fanboying. Because, listen, Hisoka fan, I am happy that Hisoka lost. It's weird for me to say that, but I am happy that Hisoka lost. Because his nen is now stronger. Hisoka, he's in his environment. Hisoka is now the predator. Hisoka is now on the hunt in earnest. And he has better weapons. He has sharper fangs. Yes, I love it. Fucking love it. So... let me talk about the chapter in earnest. Number one, the pacing. The pacing was relatively fine. At first, you do have the beginning where there's basically the aftermath of the fight between Chrollo and Hisoka, where you have the explosion, you have basically fire trucks all over the Heavens Arena. Let me show a picture right here. So you see the explosion, and like the entire area there is wastelanded. Apparently, a lot of folks died in that explosion, and you can see right here, again, another example of this. So, the explosion was fairly large, and a lot of folks did die, including Hisoka. And this is Hisoka at the beginning of the chapter. And I was like, fuck. Like, when I saw that, I was like, fuck, man. Like, shit. Like, that's something I didn't want to see, man. When I saw that picture, I was just depressed. I was like, no, Hisoka. No. And then Hisoka later on turns the tables and the nen comes back. And when that happened, I knew my boy was still in action somehow, some way. So the pacing overall is relatively fine. Once again, you have the beginning part where you have the post fight. Then after that, you have the Phantom Troop over his corpse. Machi talking to them. They leave, meaning Shalnark and Kotorpi, and then Hisoka comes back to life right then and there. And then after that, it is Hisoka deciding a new course of path when it comes to dealing with the Phantom Troop. And then afterwards, it's him pinning down Machi, and then it's him killing Kotorpi off screen, and then finally killing Shalnark. So overall, the pacing does have those 3 or 4 parts. I did want to see Kortopi die, but not really a big deal for me personally. So all in all, the pacing is going to be okay to good. Now, when it comes to the characterization, the biggest thing here, obviously, is Hisoka. All right, this is huge. Hisoka, once again, came back from the dead. He talked to his nen. He commanded his nen to become stronger after death, which is why his powers are now souped up to where not only could Hisoka stitch his own wounds fairly easily with the bungee gum, but also he was able to recreate missing parts of his body. His lips, his nose, his hand, his foot. His hand and his foot, he recreates. His nen has been amplified several times over. And that is amazing. So not only is his nen stronger, and you can kind of tell because he's able to pin down Machi fairly easily, and Machi, she is fairly powerful, but also we see the increased strength of his nen in a very subtle way. But it's very cool. You see, once Hisoka comes out of the bathroom after killing Kortopi, bro, he has his head right there. Shalnark immediately beelines for Hisoka. And once he does that, Hisoka's right foot, it goes squitch and it stretches. It becomes a springboard. That is amazing. It becomes a springboard for Hisoka. And when he throws Kortopi's head at Shalnark, he grabs the head, and essentially what I'm getting here is Hisoka, given the force of the springboard from his right foot alone, was able to instant kill Shalnark. No. And now Hisoka, he's on the warpath. He's ready. He's ready to kill some spiders. So, characterization. The chapter is clearly focused more so on Hisoka than any other character by leaps and bounds. Now, aside from Hisoka, there is some for Machi as well. Because Machi, even though Hisoka died, she does feel something for Hisoka. Even though Hisoka, of course, tried to kill her boss and he failed, and he did pay her, she had no real reason to stitch him up afterwards. But she decided to do so because I guess she felt like there was some sense of earnest friendship between herself and Hisoka. Like, you kind of get that from that face that she makes. Like, she feels a sense of maybe grief, but that's a little bit too strong. But like, she feels sorry. Like, you know, like she is looking at Hisoka like she's saddened by his death in some way, shape, or form. And that also probably ties to the reason why Hisoka didn't kill her immediately when he decided to target all the Phantom Troop. Because there's something there between Hisoka and Machi. It's subtle, kind of warped and fucked up because, again, it's Hisoka, but there is something there. And finally, when it comes to the story progression, huge. Once again, Hisoka is back. The fight is over between Chrollo and Hisoka. Chrollo won the battle, but the war is not over. It is far from over. And this is huge. So, Shalnark is talking to Chrollo about how the Kaiken, the Princes of Kaiken, they're having the ship, the voyage, to go to the outskirts of the human world. And on this ship, there's going to be a lot of treasure. And Chrollo wants in. I mean, if Togashi ever fully gets to this, he may not, because this is going to be extreme. This is going to be so intense, given just the factions that are involved in this. Because not only do you have the individual princes and their factions, you also have Kurapika and like the bodyguards that are infiltrating into these factions. Then you have Pariston, Jin Freaks, and the boys. They have that party doing some Beyond the Tarot stuff. Then you have the Zodiac, and now the Phantom Troop want in. Like, dude, oh. Oh no, it's too much. It's this ship, this voyage to the outskirts of the human world, and then potentially into the Dark Continent waters, is going to be epic. It's going to be jaw-dropping and insane if Togashi ever gets to it. Like, dude, like, how are you gonna slide in the Phantom Troop after all this shit that's going on for this voyage? You gonna slide in the Phantom Troop? Like, oh, come on. And then Hisoka's hunting them. So it's like you have so many powerful parties involved when it comes to this voyage now. And then finally, for the last part of story, is the death of 2 members of the Phantom Troop. Again, it took Kurapika a lot of time to kill 2 off. Hisoka did that shit in 1 chapter. Now granted, he did of course have the element of surprise, and they were missing their abilities for the most part, but nonetheless, that is huge. Because you have Gallery Fake and the Black Antenna, very useful powers. And there's a possibility that because they died in such a fashion against Hisoka, that their Nen is stronger in Chrollo's book now. Very possible. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think so, because it'd be a little bit too much to have that be a recurring theme constantly. And I'm not saying that because like Shalnark or Kotopi are weak or they're not loyal, and so their Nen wouldn't necessarily come back, but I don't think that it should be done because it's been done a lot when it comes to this particular segment of the series, where you have Chrollo utilize Sun and Moon to a greater extent because when the Elder Meteor City died, the Nen became stronger, but also Hisoka was able to forcibly do the same thing. So I wouldn't want that to apply to Shalnark or Kotopi as well. And from memory, the last time that happened, aside from Hisoka and Chrollo, was Neferpito when Gon killed her, but the Nen came back stronger to control her corpse. And Pito is in a class of her own, or his own, whatever. So if you keep on doing it constantly, the whole thing about the Nen becoming stronger after death, it's going to dilute the significance of Nen coming back stronger when that person dies. Because that's a very, very big thing. But nonetheless, Shalnark and Kotopi is dead, and then you see Shalnark's corpse just strung up on a swing, and you see the crows picking at his corpse, and you see the same thing happening for Kotopi's head. So Shalnark got decimated, Kotopi got eviscerated, and Hisoka is on the hunt. So where they go now, it should be to the Kaiken once again, but we'll see how that rolls. So overall, this chapter gets a yo. This chapter of Hunter x Hunter gets a yo. And I'm done. So King Lightning, rate the video, comment, and subscribe as always. Peace! Have a nice goddamn day. Hisoka. Oh, man. Woo! Oh, baby. That's... the hype is real. Oh, hold on. Wait a second. When it came to, like, the storyboard chapter that was drawn by Ishida, the person that made Tokyo Ghoul, I haven't gotten to that chapter yet. I mean, I did read some of it. The artwork is... wow. That artwork is, like, bad. It's straight up bad. And it did kind of throw me off a little bit, so I haven't really gone to it fully, because it is like 70 some odd pages of pretty meh artwork, and a story that seemed to be fairly irrelevant. Just something that is more or less like fun facts about Hisoka's past, something like that. So that being said, once again, the chapter rating for chapter 357, Disappointment 2, which is a Taite Kubo move, by the way. That rating is a yo, and now I'm done. King Lightning, rate the video, comment, subscribe. Peace! Have a nice goddamn day.